Welcome back to another episode of My Golden Life. I'm Lisa Neller, your host. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Sara Chesterfield. And Sara specializes in menopause for women. She helps women go through the process of menopause. She advises them, she counsels them, she coaches them. And I can't think of a more appropriate topic for women in the second half of life because we all go through that. And so, Sara, welcome to My Golden Life. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, let's just start with your story, Sara. Just tell us how you got where you are. I know you have a master's degree in educational leadership, but give us a little background. Tell us how you ended up here.
Well, my master's is in educational counseling,
Oh,
not
counseling. Sorry.
leadership.
Okay.
That's um, administration.
Yeah.
So I started many years ago as a special ed teacher. Then I taught junior high math. And I went into becoming a school counselor. And at the time, in order to do that, I had to teach. The rules and the laws in Arizona have changed since then. I worked in an inner city school for over 22 years, working with families, and I absolutely loved what I did, and I felt that was my act of service and kind of like why my feet touch the ground every morning, just to help people. Um, in my 40s, I started having a lot of difficulty, symptoms of menopause. Um, Too many. It's on my website, but it was bad, and not one doctor really listened to me. One of the most concerning was I would wake up at night feeling a sharp jolt in my chest, and turns out on years later, on day before Mother's Day, 2 years ago, I had a cardiac incident. So I had retired and I was a yoga instructor and I teach medical Qigong. I have a very a wonderful life. I have a full life. And here I had this cardiac incident, and it turned out that the decrease in estrogen, which was protecting my heart, led to this incident. So I needed to find out more. So in my for information, I became a certified nutrition and movement coach and wellness coach. And I also um, looked into becoming a certified menopause coach. And since I've done that, I have met the most amazing women I have ever met in my life. I listen to every woman's story, whether they want to hire me or not, and it's an honor and a privilege.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing your story. So, um, you had to seek medical attention. How did you rectify or come back to wholeness after that cardiac incident? I mean,
Um, well, I had to release a lot of judgment on myself. I have taken care of my body all my life. I worked out, I ate right, I took care of myself. Um, I guess you never, I, I didn't, I didn't blame, um, anyone. I did have a little judgment toward myself. I just decided to naturally work on my body. Um, I also found out I had osteopenia. I had a DEXA scan, so I had things happening because of decrease in estrogen.
mm,
So I've learned how to use my nutrition. There's a saying, you can't out exercise a bad diet. And that's true. Most everything really does come down to good nutrition. And so I have been taking very good care of myself, monitoring myself, going to regular checkups, um, going to a cardiologist. And by the way, to any woman that is listening, The day you need a cardiologist, it's too late.
Yeah.
You need a cardiologist when you don't need one.
Yeah.
Find one now.
Find one now before you,
Yes,
yeah, because a lot of women they don't even know the signs of a heart attack,
right.
you know, or a
It's the number one killer of women.
yeah.
And in America, it's not cancer, it's heart disease. And if you do not die of heart disease, you will have it when you die.
Hmm.
So you may not die from it, but you will have heart disease when you die. Boom.
All right, ladies, listen up.
Exactly.
Go see, get your heart examined along with
Yes.
everything else. But
Yes.
let's talk about, aside from this particular issue that you had and the osteopenia and all of that, how does menopause affect women physically, emotionally, and mentally? And you could probably write a book about this right now, but
Yeah.
um, we'll just take it slow. Just start with one and we'll move on.
Well, usually the symptoms are grouped. There's hundreds of symptoms, but they are grouped typically into three um, pillars. Vasomotor, which is the hot flushes, the sweats, the heart palpitations, which also contributes to the brain fog. There is also the stress, right? That's very, very big. And sexual, um, um, dryness, painful sex, and that can be very debilitating for many women. Then you can go into urinary tract infections and so many other things, which then goes into pelvic floor health, um, prolapse. So, you want to practice um, really uh, regular pelvic health practices. There are so many symptoms. Again, palpitations, dry skin, dry hair, dry everything, bloating, gas, diarrhea, gastrointestinal issues, heart issues, joint pain,
Hmm.
brain fog, forgetfulness, um, brittle nails, so many things. It's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole. And for women who have already gone through menopause, so menopause is one day. It's the day that you haven't had your period for 12 months consecutively. Um, Even for women, one big misconception that a lot of women don't understand is even though they've gone through menopause, they've passed it, they're in postmenopause, and even women who are receiving hormone replacement therapy, there are still signs, symptoms, which can be debilitating. And so that's where I come in. I help women with stress, rest and recovery, nutrition, movement, sleep. And these are things that all of you women out there listening know. You all know all of the things I'm going to tell you, but you don't do them. We just don't
Well,
do it.
yeah, I mean, there's procrastination, laziness, not wanting to, and then if you're going to make changes, I think
Mom,
creating small habits is the way to go, right? Like
right?
even just in ingesting seeds or nuts or something that's like relatively good for you that you wouldn't normally eat, you might just try a few every day, right? That might be something you could do.
Right, and many of the women I work with are full-time professionals. They're the boss. They are the boss.
Mm.
And it's not just really procrastination or lack of motivation. In fact, it's actually time.
Yeah.
They don't have the time. They do have the motivation and they do have the will and the wherewithal. They just don't know where to start. Our society is bombarded by social media, and social media influencers just they have this big salad in front of them. They make this big salad and it's in this big bowl, and they're just standing there scooping it up saying, "This is what I eat." Well, first of all, you don't eat the whole thing, but you're showing women that they can just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and just gobble it up, and they're going to look like you. We are so inundated with influencers on social media who don't know you, who don't know
Well,
the woman behind the screen.
so that leads me to another question, and that is, um, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about menopause that you encounter in your work?
Thank you for asking that. There are
Mhm.
so many of them. One is, I already received hormone replacement therapy. What more can I do? I'm already getting injections. I'm already getting giblets. I'm already doing this. I don't need any more. Well, the fact is you do. um, Hormone replacement therapy may not work for in your late 60s, 70s, and beyond. Pelvic floor health. Women don't, we take it for granted. We take for granted our pelvic floor health until it's too late. And that's another misconception. Oh, I'm fine. Well, practicing good pelvic floor health will help. Nutrition. There is a big misconception out there that now we need to eat our body weight of protein. Okay, that is insane. I you're if unless you're an elite athlete and are following the guidelines of an elite nutritionist, a
Yeah.
trainer, I would just follow the guidelines of most women need about maybe 60 grams, 70 grams of protein a day. Starting your day with protein is very important.
Mm.
Starting your day with healthy protein. Another big misconception, uh, keto will work for me forever, and it won't. It's
Yeah.
not sustainable.
Not
I
sustainable.
thought people knew that already, but it's still now there's such a thing as green keto for about a month to kickstart, your nutrition, and that is eating healthy fats, healthy proteins, and healthy carbohydrates. It's not the bulletproof coffee and the bacon and it's different. It's more getting your carbohydrates from healthy vegetables and fruits.
I'm
Another,
sorry you said that because I love that bulletproof coffee thing.
oh, and that's fine, but for a long period of time,
Oh,
if you don't have any cholesterol problems, that's great. But I have a lot of clients that come back to me and, after a few months, my cholesterol went really high.
yeah.
So you,
It's
you know,
funny you say that because I was just talking to a naturopathic physician. I went to get my hormones. I went to get the blood work for my hormones to see where my levels were at. And I mentioned the MCT oil I had that morning. And he's like, "Do you have high cholesterol?" I go, "Yeah, kind of." He goes, "Well, you shouldn't have that then." I said, "Well, okay, I don't have it every day. So that's a good thing to
yeah,
know. I don't have it every day. And it's good to know that that does raise cholesterol, that fat."
over time, and it is a healthy fat. It's a healthy fat, but again, it's a fat. The
Yeah.
body, it's like sugar. People think, well, I use honey. Sugar, sugar. And there's another other misconceptions. Joint pain is inflammation and cortisol spiking in your body, and there are plenty of small dietary changes you can make to decrease the cortisol and to decrease the inflammation in your body. Um, a lot of people, like hummus. Hummus is a very healthy food, which is very, very low on the glycemic index. However, people pair it with crackers and things that are 100 on the glycemic index. So you're,
Like
you
pita
know,
bread, like the
yeah,
pita. Yeah. So
which
it's
is
better to have maybe a healthy carrot or something with
a
that or some
carrot or
cucumbers.
celery, if you're watching the glycemic index. So insulin load is another big marker in menopause. Insulin, cortisol stores in you. So that's why we seem to gain weight in certain areas, and it's harder and harder to lose because of the insulin resistance that we are up against.
Mm. I know that we have a problem in this country, at least in the US, in terms of chronic obesity, chronic illness, chronic health problems that we could easily shift, right? If we, it's, a matter of education, a matter of maybe some policy, and a matter of people really wanting to be healthy. And
Yeah,
yes,
I think people want to be healthy. I don't think our current food supply helps us. If you've traveled to the UK or to the EU, they have labeling systems that are red, yellow, and green. Makes sense. We don't have
mhm.
any of that here.
Yeah, so hopefully that will change
Yeah.
soon. What advice would you give to women who are struggling with symptoms but feel like hesitant to seek any help?
Ah, yeah. Primary care physician, hear me roar. Have a list of all of your symptoms, print it out. How long, the duration of your symptoms, and the severity of your symptoms. Do not leave the office until you've had a reasonable discussion and an understanding that your primary care physician will give you a blood test. And there are certain blood tests that you want to get, um, depending on well, it doesn't really depend on, it does depend on your insurance. So a lot of insurance, like you may go to a hormone doctor. I don't know if everyone's insurance covers stuff like that. I
Mhm.
know that most of my clients have to pay for their hormone testing out of pocket, and one of my clients just spent $1,500 doing that.
Well, I don't know why, and I don't know what the test was. I mean, I think I spent $130 the other
Yeah,
day. And
yeah,
yeah, so it's not in everyone's budget for sure. But if you can't afford a few hundred extra dollars to see a
yeah,
naturopathic doctor, I would do
yeah,
that. My
exactly.
my doctor specializes in hormones. She
Right.
understands how they metabolize and she's better than my OB/GYN. I'll call
Yeah.
her, she's just my gynecologist now. And she's fabulous. And she performed a hysterectomy on me not too long ago. But you do have to advocate for yourself and you have to do a lot of your own research, even when it comes to that. So, for example, she did not recommend that I go see a pelvic floor physical therapist, but my daughter, having been to one, suggested I go.
Mhm.
And to learn how to do those pelvic floor exercises and to learn what happens when when you have a hysterectomy and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we should be working on the pelvic area and get
Yeah.
educated in how to strengthen it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also, women are told by their doctors, do this, do this, do this, do this, but doctors don't tell us how. It's up to us.
Yeah.
And my doctors never, and they were all female, never heard me say, I feel like I'm having somebody put my finger in an electric socket, and I wake up every night with this jolt. And I thought it was just anxiety, from work, which we typically as women think, oh, it's just anxiety. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, find a good doctor like you have, and don't leave until you feel that you've had your questions answered. And if you don't feel that you had your questions answered, contact me. I will write up a list of questions and I will help you with blood tests. And most of my clients, when we meet, they bring their phones and they show me their their blood test work, and we go over that. And it's very informative. Knowledge is power. Knowledge
Hmm.
is power. And I've had a lot of women say, well, isn't ignorance bliss? No. Knowledge is power.
Isn't ignorance bliss? That's really being in denial, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Um, what are some practical tips for maintaining a positive mindset and sense of purpose during this transitional phase of life? Because,
Good question.
we could get down, we could get, a little depressed, we could get moody. I don't know, but maybe
I
there's some
think
things we
one
could
of the
do.
most important things that we have available to us is our breath.
Mm, yes.
It's the most overlooked yet obvious um, thing that we have no matter where we are. I work with women. I have many of my clients, I send them a breath work practice every morning.
Oh, I love that.
Every morning, I send them a breath work practice. Uh, some work, some don't. Um, some, some of the most effective breath work. So going back just a little, um, when we open emails, when
Hmm.
we are on the phone, when we're working, our breath changes right away. We hold it. So the breath, feet on the floor, grounding. We need grounding breaths. We need mindful breaths to bring us into the moment, not into where this conversation or where this email may take me or where the last one took me. I need
Mm,
to ground and be present and focused for myself and for my client, for my business, for my, whatever we're doing at that moment. So I would say breath work. Three of the most positive breath works that my feedback with my clients are the 4 by 4 breath, just inhale for 4, exhale for 4. It
hmm.
brings you right back to the moment. A lot of my clients don't like to hold their breath. Um, it gives them stress. So if holding your breath stresses you out, just 4 by 4.
Yeah.
If you can hold your breath, inhale for 4, hold the breath for 5, and exhale for 6.
Hmm.
That's another really good one if you can. If you are in a meeting, I have been in meetings with people and in my past life, and I have taken a 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 breath, and I've taken my pencil and I've done a box on the paper. So I've inhaled for 4 and draw a line, and I hold the breath for 4 and I draw a line, and I exhale for 4, I draw another line, and then I hold the exhale out and I make a complete box. So that's kinesthetic
Yeah.
as well. So breath work is one way. Another way that I find that a lot of women it helps is that they have a wind down sleep routine in the evening, which can include after brushing your teeth and washing your face is taking some nice face oil and making and just massaging, giving yourself a nice massage on the face, neck, jaw, the TMJ. We get so tight, right? And then also taking the hands and just releasing and relaxing the shoulders. The shoulders are so tense because they're right in the center of our thinking mind and our feeling heart. So our shoulders end up like this. And just
Yes.
rolling the shoulders up, back, down, and around a couple times helps. So a good sleep routine is really important. Breath work is very important. And a good morning routine.
Mm.
Um, I know everyone out there listening knows what habit stacking is because everyone has read Adam Grant. But habit stacking is when you take a habit that you currently have
Mhm.
and you stack a habit that you want to incorporate into your daily life into the same moment, place, and situation that that habit that is already established is. So I have women who make their coffee every morning. So while they're making their coffee every morning, which takes maybe 5 to 8 minutes, they either a brain dump, so they just journal, they just write on paper, just write without judgment, without fixing, without doing anything. They just write the kind of day they want to have. They release any stress, tension, or tightness before their day starts that way, and they can throw it away. You don't have to keep it. I have other women who, while their coffee is brewing, they do 10 squats, 10 air jumps, 10 toe touches, whatever in the morning to get the juices flowing. Drinking a glass of water while you're waiting for your coffee. Yeah, starting your day with that. Um, so habit stacking. So starting your day off, having that good routine, breathing, and having a good night routine to decrease some of that stress and to invite some rest and recovery into your evening helps. And if you do wake up in the middle of the night, another good tip that a lot of women, it helps them is to breathe.
Yeah.
Inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. And that is it. Breathing.
I love those. I love those. Those are very practical tips. So thank you for sharing those. The only thing I would add is to um, maybe find, I like spiritual food in the morning. Um, and that doesn't mean scripture or anything. It could be poetry or any kind of inspirational read that's short so that
Yeah.
you could easily fit that into a busy routine. And
Yes.
also, it's usually something that gives you something to think about, a ponder, or it gives you a happy face, for a little bit or something like
Right.
that.
Right. No, that is a good point. In fact, what I do with my clients is every morning you receive a text from me that has your vision. So we work on a vision, a health vision. And every morning I send you that vision and a quote, something to help you with your day. Yeah, that ties in with your vision.
I love that. I mean, it's so supportive, and gosh, that is such a um, way to serve your clients to go above and beyond. I'm gonna steal that probably,
It's
Erica. I
I
love that.
I listen to every woman with my heart,
Yeah,
and every woman wants to be heard because as we age, as we get this gray, so I have gray hair, we become invisible. We are not seen. Our voices are not heard. And I see you and I hear you. And when you are not listened to by a physician or your health professional for years, you begin to doubt yourself.
yeah.
And women deserve more. We all deserve more. And we deserve to be heard, to be seen, and to be listened to.
Yeah, and I think that, people like you and me can change the landscape of the aging population. We can really help women embrace aging and continue to use their voice and continue to use their gifts and that kind of thing. Well, let's talk about where people can find you. How can you help them? I know you're a coach, so let's find out where people can find out more about you.
Well, you can find out about me on my website, which is my name, Sarah without an H. So it's sarachesterfield.com.
Mhm.
Pretty simple to find me. I have a newsletter that I send out twice a month or every other week. Um, I That's how to find me. I also co-own a retreat business with Dawn Hopkins of Inspiritus Yoga.
No,
And
Dawn?
yeah,
Yeah.
we do women's retreats. We just did an amazing retreat in Sedona. We are doing a retreat in Italy and Tuscany in
Nice.
October of 2025.
Okay.
That will be amazing. And up until then, every month we do mini retreats, 1.5 days, or we do restorative retreats, women's circles. We do um, uh, every Thursday we co-teach a yoga class here in Chandler, and we are pretty active. And for any woman that can't afford any of our retreats or anything, we do have scholarship funds. And the same for my business. For any woman, every woman deserves a chance to be heard and to listen to. And
Mm.
I listen to women. And if women cannot afford my fee, I work with them. I have women pay me what they can when they can, and we go from there. But nobody should be excluded because they can't afford it.
Wow. Well, that's very generous of you. And so sarachesterfield.com, Sarah without an H, so Sara. And she does have a beautiful website. It's really well done. And you can connect with her there. You can get the newsletter there. And then if you're in and around the Phoenix area, because we're both in Arizona, and when she said Chandler, she meant Chandler, Arizona,
Hmm.
which is sort of on the south end of Phoenix, maybe southeast. Um, so yeah, so Sarah, thank you so much for coming and talking about this very important subject. I greatly appreciate it. And
Well, thank you, Lisa. It's people like you who let people like me speak and have a platform. There are a lot of platforms out there, and I'm not on them.
yeah,
I'm
but this
very
is,
humbly in my own space.
oh, well, I'm glad to help you get the word out. And the more women we can help, the better. And
Right.
sometimes, when we're hanging out in the same circles of the same types of people, we forget that there are women out there who aren't privy to all this information that we have. And so it's really up to us to share it in somehow. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you. And, I appreciate every woman that I have met so far on this journey. Um, they have helped me um, become just full of love and grace and gratitude.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up, but Sarah has been a great guest. Please share this podcast with someone that you know who may be entering menopause, entering that phase or that transition of life. Please share it, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.